Start interview tape number 1, 2, 6, 3, 4.
Okay, starting interview with one Mr. Jed Thornton. Date is the 4th of June, 2005. Okay, Mr. Thornton, you've called me here saying you have a great story for my paper. You said it's something to do with local unsolved murders?
When I was a kid, we lived in a little town called Pollock. Living in a small town sucks. There ain't nothing to do and nowhere to go. Most of my days as a kid consisted of sleeping, listening to the wind, spitting in tin cans, or exploring the neighborhood. Pollock's almost enough to drive a kid crazy with boredom. And being poor in a small town's even worse, 'cause you couldn't even go to a cinema show. Of course, what happened to me was way worse than any picture show.
Okay, I'm not sure what this has to do with the murders of...
Back then, I had my two best friends, Jimmy and Jake. You see, his real name were Jacob, but he hated it so we just called him Jake. I knowed him since I met him in kindergarten, and hung out with him almost every day since. Jake, James, and I had a serious thing for getting scared. We'd read scary books, laughing at all fake it seemed. We'd laugh when the horrible plot finally revealed who the killer was, having figured it out at the very start. The only books we really liked were the psychological ones, the ones that were more on getting in your head and then splashing blood all around. We were teens, and being teen boys, we'd fight all the time, mostly wrestling and fucking around, pretending to box each other. We'd never really hurt each other, just play around. We also liked to sneak out of the place at night and explore the old part of town. We weren't supposed to go there, something about being pieces of shit waiting to fall down. But who cared? We were bored, thrill-seeking teens.
Okay, you mentioned Jimmy. Is that Jimmy James, the one who...
So one night, we decided to explore this one house. Some real reeker of a house. There was something of a legend round town that some kid killed his family in that house after dying, and the whole family was found dead in the bathroom, half-eaten, with looks of horror on their face. My friend and I just laughed at that story, laughing about how they said he'd killed them after his death. That ain't possible. Once you's dead, Jim'd always say, and we'd laugh again at the stupid old tale.
Okay, but what does this have to do with the murders?
Of course, some small town legends are sometimes based in truth.
Okay, I think this interview is...
So, we decided to go there on the night of Saturday, the 15th of July, a day that will always be burned in my memory. It was hot that day, with a little wind. We didn't wear much. Jake had some cut-off jeans, shorts, and no shirt. Jimmy had a pair of jeans and a unbuttoned white long shirt. I was wearing a pair of jeans and no-sleeve shirt. When time came, we always did what we did before exploring. We grabbed some bottles of water, our 3 flashlights, some spare batteries, some snacks. I think there was some beef jerky. And we each had our penknives. We're nothing special, our penknives, just some basic 2-inch blades and a wood handle.
So those were the murder
Being the abandoned part of town, there weren't no power going there, and it was real dark. So we was walking to the house, only moonlight and our flashlights guiding the way. Then we reached the house. We looked it over, this being the first time we ever saw it in the dark. It was a 2-story house, with a bay window on either side of the second floor. There was a big old balcony in the very front, and what looked like a rope hanging from one of the bars on it. There was 2 big old oaks, dead as can be, in front of the house, one on either side of the yard. So We started up the front steps. Once we were on the porch, Jim got his foot stuck in a hole. It was quite a spectacle, and we laughed at him trying to get his foot out. About 5 minutes later, he finally got his foot out, but lost his shoe in the process. Scowling, he reached into the hole to get his shoe, and soon started screaming at the top of his lungs. This, of course, scared the shit out of me and Jake, and we rushed to help him. By the time we'd reached him, he'd pulled his shoe out of the hole and started laughing at us, saying that was for not helping me get out of this hole. We slugged him in the arm, calling him an asshole. Then we opened the front door and headed inside. The first thing that hit us was the smell. It smelled like a road-killed rabbit we'd happened upon a few months back. That house smelled like death.
Okay, so can we get to the murders already? I've got enough filler for a week's worth of papers.
So anyways, there we were, 3 teen boys in an old, said-to-be haunted house. So what did we do? We went exploring. Of course, being teen boys, we had no fear of being alone in an old house. So we split up. Jimmy went upstairs, Jake went downstairs in the basement, and I went exploring about the main floor. After a bit of exploring, I came across this notebook on the dining table. Of course, I'm thinking I'd never open it, but lo and behold, something compelled me to do it. So I popped it open and started reading it.
Reference ID number 5329. Type journal. Evidence number 3423. Page 1. 1:15:61.
We moved today. I hate having to see our old house fade into the distance. I grew up in that house and put up the biggest fight to stay there, but being only 12 doesn't give much pull in the family. Dad said we have to move, since he has to look for work after being canned, and has gotten a hint that there was an easy job with good pay here. We were all crammed in the station wagon listening to the Beatles' new hit on the radio. The only problem is I don't like the Beatles. When we pulled up in the driveway, I groaned. This was our new house? It looked like a ruin. When I asked Dad about it, he said that yes, it was a junker, but he had gotten a really good deal on it. Dad then announced to the family that we would be fixing up the house starting
Into page 1. Page 2.
tomorrow. Ugh.
1:16:61.
Not only is it freezing cold in this house, it smells horrible. It smells like dusty, rotten mold. My father said it'd smell better when we clean it up more, but this smell is almost making me puke. I finally was able to unpack all my stuff. Can't wait to go exploring the town. Hope there are other kids here.
1:17:61.
The movers finally brought our furniture in. Feels good to lay on my bed.
Into page 2. Page 3.
Having had to sleep in a sleeping bag last night, I even found my lucky nickel under the mattress. I thought I'd left that in our old house. Dad said he needs help sanding the floors. We will finally be able to walk on the floors without shoes.
1:26:61.
I noticed something odd today. While in the bathroom, I was looking at myself in the mirror, and they looked just like a face. I know, noticing a scratch in a mirror is kind of far-fetched, but there it was. It looked like an old man's face, all wrinkled and saggy. It's kind of cool to look at, but I have more cleaning to do.
Into page 3. Page 4. 2:10:61.
Something weird is definitely going on here. Those scratches on the mirror, they changed. They now look like a skull. When I showed Dad it, he just shrugged it off and told me my imagination was getting away from me. It still scares me quite a bit, but there's more work to be done. I can't sleep. I keep dreaming about that skull.
End of page 4. Page 5. 2/15/61.
The scratches changed again. It now looks like a sprawled out body. The head seems to be balanced on the chin, and the arms and legs are at the side. This is really freaking me out. I tried to get Dad to look at it, but he yelled at me and said my mind should be elsewhere than making up stories about scratches on a mirror. Then he slapped me across the head and told me to go clean the attic. Fuck that. I'll do it tomorrow.
End of page 5. Page 6. 2/17/61.
The scratch on the mirror went back to a skull today. It changed between the three, one a day, and in the same order it originally went through. Old man, skull, body. Some sort of pattern I'm missing?
2/21/61.
A new scratch came up. A hatchet. No doubt about its shape. Maybe there's something I'm missing.
2/21/61.
I asked Dad who lived here before us. He said it was a long time ago, about 100 years ago, and it was just some old man.
End of page 6. Page 7.
This interested me, so I asked my new friend, Frank, if he could tell me more. According to him, the authorities arrested the old man, Joseph Maver, for the murder of 33 people, and they found their corpses in his basement. They found some weird carvings on each body that they couldn't decode, and all their limbs had been chopped off with a hatchet. I also heard from him that the house was built on an ancient Indian ritual site, and that the rituals there were not of the nice kind. This is pretty freaky. Can't sleep again. Can't stop thinking about the murders.
Into page 7. Page 8. 3/14/61.
Something really weird happened today. The old man scratch showed up again, and it spoke to me. It told me to let it in. And the scratch changed before my eyes to skull and hatchet. He said it would be so fun to kill again. I was then grabbed from behind by something I couldn't see. I fought, but eventually was overpowered and slammed to the ground. The thing was speaking again, saying something in a language I'd never heard before. Its grip loosened, and somehow I managed to get away.
Into page 8. Page 9.
I will never go in there again.
Into page 9. Page 10. Date unspecified.
The mirror. The mirror is calling me. I must go. Must let it in.
Into page 10. Page 11. Date unspecified. There's a drawing of a mirror with scratches on it and a face.
Same thing every day, same thing every day, same thing every day, same thing every day. Mirror, 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 mirror. Old man, hatchet, skull, body. Old man, hatchet, skull, body. Old man, hatchet, skull, body.
End of page 11. Page 12. Date unspecified.
Bodies came after me through mirror. Drag me in tub. Get in head. Need to bring family. See what I found.
End of page 12. Page 13, date unspecified. Page is doused in blood, and only 2 words are legible. End of page 13. End of evidence.